The Swiss Alps, a majestic part of Europe's largest and most populous mountain range, stretch endlessly with snow-covered peaks that tower over the horizon. Jagged cliffs rise sharply into the sky, their edges carved by the relentless passage of time. These mountains are a true wonder of nature, with 470 meters of glaciers embracing every deep ravine, bringing life to the green meadows and forests below. But beneath this tranquil and breathtaking beauty lies a harsh, unforgiving reality. Here, survival is a constant battle, and as winter approaches, every living being must adapt or succumb to the severe conditions. From the smallest animals to the most cunning predators, each movement is a calculated decision, and each step is a matter of life and death. In this landscape, nature is both a stunning backdrop and a formidable opponent, a place where survival is not a guarantee, but a challenge to be overcome. This is the story of resilience, where life endures the relentless test of time and nature's elements. Welcome to the Swiss Alps, where the secrets of the apex hunters are revealed. As winter wraps the Alps in its icy grip, the towering peaks around the Matterhorn transform into colossal fortresses of snow and ice. On steep cliffs, the alpine ibexes display remarkable agility, scaling the rock faces to stay safe from predators and to find the remaining patches of grass beneath the snow. Down in the valleys, the chamois, nimble and swift, make their way down the slopes. Yet even with their agility, the deep snow makes their progress slow and difficult. They descend to lower ground, seeking food, but every movement is watched, every step is followed. In the stillness of night, the Eurasian lynx, a silent predator, stalks through the snow-covered forest. Its paws press into the snow, almost soundless as it moves with purpose. Above, the golden eagle, with its vast wingspan, glides across the sky, its sharp eyes scanning for vulnerable prey below. Like a swift arrow, the eagle plunges from the sky with deadly precision. Winter in the Alps is a time of great challenge. Only the strong will survive in this unforgiving landscape. Covering over 60% of Switzerland's total land area, the Swiss Alps span across 15,940 square miles, forming a national icon with their towering mountains, expansive valleys, and awe-inspiring natural beauty. Glaciers, forests, and waterfalls combine to create an ecosystem where life persists despite the tough conditions. Although Switzerland encompasses just 14% of the entire Alps, it is home to 48 of the 82 peaks that rise above 13,000 feet. The remaining peaks are located within just 12 miles of the Swiss borders, making this region one of the most remarkable natural landscapes on Earth, where time seems frozen in the ice and rock formations. The word Alps originates from the Latin term albus, meaning white, a fitting description of the snow-covered peaks that appear as crowns of ice against the sky. But the story of these mountains is one of epic geological forces. Around 65 million years ago, two enormous tectonic plates, Africa and Europe, began to collide with tremendous power. This monumental clash forced the sediments of the ancient Tethys Ocean upwards, gradually shaping them into the towering mountains we now know as the Alps. Over millions of years, this slow but steady process created one of the world's most iconic mountain ranges, a masterpiece of nature that continues to evolve even today. Rising with an average elevation exceeding 6,500 feet, The Swiss Alps span from the southwest to the northeast, forming a stunning backbone through Switzerland. Among its impressive summits, 48 out of 82 peaks soar above 13,000 feet, with Dufourspitze towering at 15,203 feet, marking it as the tallest in the region. The Aletsch Glacier, a marvel of nature at 14 miles in length and covering 46 square miles, serves as more than just a visual spectacle. It sustains life by feeding significant rivers, such as the Rhone and Rhine. These rivers, alongside valleys like Zermatt and Lauterbrunnen, have been meticulously shaped by glaciers over millennia. Lauterbrunnen, known for its 70-plus waterfalls cascading from towering cliffs, exemplifies the relentless power of ice and time, while Zermatt sits beneath the iconic Matterhorn, a pyramid-like giant in the alpine world. The Swiss Alps are not just a marvel of rugged beauty, but also one of Europe's most biodiverse regions, home to thousands of unique species of plants and animals, some found nowhere else on Earth. With every 328 feet of elevation gained, the temperature drops approximately 0.56 degrees Celsius, dividing the Alps into three distinct climate zones: the subalpine zone, the alpine zone, and the glacial zone. Each of these areas offers specialized habitats, ranging from dense pine forests to vast alpine meadows and icy glacier fields. For the animals and plants that live here, daily survival is a test against the cold, all while they hold out for the brighter days of summer. When summer finally arrives in the Swiss Alps, it signals a revival of life after the prolonged winter. Snowmelt from the high peaks starts to fill the valleys with crystal-clear streams, and in the lower regions, where temperatures range between 50 degrees Fahrenheit and 68 degrees Fahrenheit, warmth spreads across the ecosystem. Meadows bloom with wildflowers in a vibrant display of color, and the melted glaciers nourish the rivers, transforming the valleys into lush environments brimming with life. At altitudes between 6,560 and 9,840 feet, the alpine zone comes alive, with temperatures climbing from 37 degrees Fahrenheit to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Peaks like the Matterhorn and Dufourspitze, no longer cloaked in ice, gleam in the bright summer sun. Meltwater rushes from these heights, forming spectacular waterfalls that cascade into the valleys below. This seasonal water source not only enhances the scenery, but also provides sustenance for the entire ecosystem. Grasslands flourish with the moisture, offering food for the iconic alpine ibex, also known as the steinbok, which roams these steep cliffs in search of fresh grasses, herbs, and shrubs. The ibex, with its exceptional climbing skills, is a master of these cliffs, a product of millions of years of evolution. Its powerful hooves and muscular frame allow it to scale narrow ledges only a few inches wide, reaching places inaccessible to most other creatures, ensuring its survival in one of nature's most challenging environments. These steep cliffs become crucial refuges for the mountain goats, shielding them from threats such as the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx. Their ability to navigate these rugged areas gives them a distinct advantage, allowing them to reach fresh grass and shrubbery with minimal competition from other species. As summer draws to a close, the males break away from the herd, engaging in fierce battles for dominance. The thunderous clashes of their horns echo across the mountains, signaling both a show of strength and preparation for the breeding season ahead. Summer brings a busy yet bountiful period for the chamois, as the alpine meadows become lush and teeming with life, providing an abundant source of nourishment. These agile creatures take full advantage of this time, traversing steep and treacherous rock faces to feed in remote areas. Their powerful legs and specialized hooves enable them to maintain a firm grip on slippery rocks, moving with ease where few other animals can venture. Chamois live in organized herds, usually ranging from 15 to 30 individuals, with dominant males overseeing territories rich in nutritious food. As summer fades, competition intensifies among the males, each striving to assert dominance before the breeding season begins. Meanwhile, females and their young relocate to safer areas, away from predators like the golden eagle or Eurasian lynx. Alertness is key to their survival, especially in open spaces. A recent study by the University of Zurich in 2023 revealed that chamois can sprint at speeds of up to 31 miles per hour, even on uneven terrain, providing a significant edge when fleeing from predators. The mountain hare, often referred to as the blue hare, tundra hare, or snow hare, represents a prime example of adaptation to the unforgiving alpine environment. As summer approaches, the hare sheds its white winter fur, replacing it with a brownish-gray coat that blends perfectly into the rocky slopes and lush meadows. This seasonal change not only camouflages the hare, but also helps it cope with the intense summer heat. Feeding primarily on grasses, wildflowers, and other plants, the hare builds up its strength after enduring the harsh winter. Yet, the ever-present danger from predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx remains, forcing the hare to remain constantly vigilant. The coat's transformation is more than a disguise. It also helps the hare endure the hot summer sun. Its thick fur provides insulation, while the camouflage allows it to survive in the challenging alpine landscape. Meanwhile, high in the alpine zone, golden eagles find an ideal habitat among the steep cliffs and open spaces. Their expansive wingspans, reaching up to 6 feet, allow them to soar effortlessly as they search for prey. Eagles typically return to the same nests year after year, constructing them as sturdy fortresses on cliff ledges. Summer is a critical time for rearing their young. After a spring incubation period of 40 to 45 days, the chicks hatch as summer begins. Under the careful guidance of their parents, they learn to hunt and take their first flights. Despite the season's abundance of food, the soaring temperatures at high altitudes can be taxing, but golden eagles manage by flying higher to cooler air currents, conserving energy by riding thermal updrafts. At lower elevations, between 5,000 and 6,500 feet, the subalpine zone of the Swiss Alps bridges the dense forests and open meadows. Summer temperatures range from 41 degrees Fahrenheit to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing a resurgence of life as vegetation flourishes, bringing a fresh vitality to the landscape. Meltwater from the mountain snow trickles down through pine, spruce, and fir forests, nurturing the valleys below. Crocus and bellflowers bloom in vibrant shades of purple and white, adding splashes of color to the green meadows, which stretch like soft carpets across the terrain. In the thick forests of pine and spruce, red deer find both sustenance and shelter, hidden from lurking predators. Under the warm sun, young fawns trail their mothers, learning to find the freshest grass in the meadows. Throughout the summer, red deer herds roam the meadows, grazing in the coolest, most fertile spots. Adult deer, weighing between 330 and 600 pounds, must consume 15 to 30 pounds of food daily to maintain their health. The males, with their large, imposing antlers, grow stronger during the season, preparing for the upcoming battles of the mating season. These antlers are not merely symbols of dominance, but essential tools for the fierce clashes to come. Meanwhile, the smaller roe deer are particularly active, with the males engaging in intense rutting competitions for mating rights. They mark their territories by rubbing their antlers against trees and making loud calls to attract females, demonstrating their strength and dominance. These confrontations are not only about physical power, but also about securing status within the herd. The rich summer vegetation, abundant with fresh grasses, leaves, and nutrient-packed buds, provides the red deer with the energy reserves they need. Typically grazing during the early morning and late evening to avoid the heat, they spend their days resting in dense forests, staying safe from predators who prowl the landscape, always on the hunt. The red fox is a highly adaptable hunter, thriving during the vibrant summer months when nature is abundant. Though generally solitary creatures, summer is a critical time for young foxes as they begin to develop essential survival skills under the watchful eye of their mother. The kits venture beyond the den, exploring their surroundings while learning to hunt. Their mother teaches them how to locate prey, secure food, and protect themselves from dangers. As omnivores, red foxes have a varied diet that includes hunting small animals like mice, fledgling birds, lizards, and insects, often relying on their ability to leap up to 3 feet to catch hidden rodents underground. Alongside their hunting, they supplement their diet with berries and fruits found in the forest, ensuring they gather enough energy for the challenging seasons ahead. In the evening hours, the European badger becomes more active, relying on its sharp sense of smell to forage for food. With dusk settling in, badgers dig into the moist soil in search of earthworms, insects, roots, and occasionally small animals. Earthworms are a staple, comprising up to 60% of their diet, with an average badger consuming around 1.5 to 2 pounds of earthworms, about 200 worms, each night. Meadows and the edges of forests in the subalpine zone are ideal hunting grounds for these nocturnal creatures. With strong claws, badgers dig for roots and tubers, providing extra sustenance during the warmer months. Summer also marks the time when badgers prepare for the next breeding season. Males and females engage in courtship behaviors, often forming long-term mating partnerships. These badgers live in large family groups, sharing complex underground burrow systems, sometimes with up to 50 entrances. During summer, they renovate their burrows with fresh grass and leaves, creating a secure shelter that protects them from predators and harsh weather. The warmth of summer also signals the return of the white stork, migrating from Africa to the Swiss Alps for breeding. Wetlands and flooded fields in the subalpine zone, such as those in the expansive valleys of the anterior Rhine, become ideal nesting sites. Meltwater from the glaciers enriches these areas, providing ample food for the storks. Their massive nests, which can weigh up to 440 pounds, are constructed atop tall trees or rooftops and reused each year, growing larger as they are repaired and added to during every breeding season. Not far behind, the penduline tit begins its own nesting efforts, weaving delicate structures from spider silk and soft plant fibers like willow. These hanging nests resemble small pouches swaying in the breeze, offering a well-protected fortress against predators. demonstrating the bird's impressive craftsmanship during the fleeting summer months. Summer is also the season of peak activity for the European green lizard, thriving in the sunlit slopes, sparse vegetation, and areas along forest edges and stream banks. These conditions create the perfect habitat for the lizards to bask and regulate their body temperature, which provides the energy they need for hunting and reproduction. Adjusting to the rising midday heat, they become most active in the cooler hours of the early morning and late afternoon, using their speed and agility to hunt insects and other small prey. Meanwhile, high above, the majestic glacial zone of the Swiss Alps, with its thick ice and rugged terrain, begins to transform with the arrival of summer. Glaciers like Aletsch and Rhone, though harsh, come alive as the ice melts, sending streams of cold water down to nourish the valleys below. This meltwater, rich in oxygen, replenishes the freshwater ecosystems, sustaining fish populations like the barbel and Danube salmon that once thrived here. Among the glaciers, the mute swan elegantly glides across the frigid meltwater lakes, its long neck dipping below the surface in search of aquatic plants. Consuming about 8 pounds of food each day, these swans rely on their summer diet to maintain energy levels and nurture their young. Though they coexist peacefully with species like the mallard duck and kingfisher, mute swans fiercely defend their nests when threatened. Even larger predators, such as the golden eagle, struggle to challenge the swans due to their size and vigilance. In the rugged terrain, the rock ptarmigan takes advantage of the scarce grass patches and rocky outcrops for feeding. Much like the mountain hare, the ptarmigan changes its plumage with the seasons, shifting to brown or gray feathers that allow it to blend into the summer landscape, helping it survive the intense alpine conditions. As the Swiss Alps transition from the warmth of summer, the vibrant greens of the meadows and forests slowly shift to fiery hues of red, orange, and yellow. The landscape becomes a stunning natural canvas, signaling the approach of autumn. Rainfall increases, the air grows colder, and vegetation begins to slow, preparing for dormancy. The wildlife senses this shift, responding to the urgency of gathering resources and preparing for the harsher season ahead. Autumn in the subalpine zone creates a stunning tapestry of colors as the leaves of deciduous trees shift to brilliant yellows, while ferns and mosses below adopt shades of muted brown. Daytime temperatures remain comfortably mild, but as the sun sets, the air quickly cools, often dropping to freezing temperatures by night. This season brings a slow, yet dynamic transformation, with both the environment and the animals that inhabit it gearing up for the demanding winter ahead. For raccoons, autumn marks a crucial period for gathering energy. Originally native to North America, raccoons were introduced to Germany for their fur, but have since spread to parts of Switzerland, particularly around Lake Geneva. In preparation for winter, raccoons focus on building up fat reserves, hunting small animals, foraging for berries and nuts, and even fishing in nearby streams. They are known for washing their food, a behavior that enhances their ability to handle and consume various food sources, particularly in aquatic settings. Along with foraging, raccoons also use this time to secure and fortify their dens, often choosing tree hollows, caves, or abandoned structures as their shelters before the cold truly sets in. According to a 2024 study from the University of Zurich, raccoons have expanded rapidly in the subalpine regions due to their adaptability and the abundant food available in the autumn. However, the Swiss Mammal Research Institute warns that this growing population could pose a threat to native species as raccoons outcompete them for resources. Meanwhile, red squirrels also face the challenge of winter preparation. Their focus turns to gathering pine cones, acorns, and seeds from the surrounding trees, storing them in various locations such as tree hollows or beneath the ground. Their remarkable memory allows them to locate these hidden caches even after snow covers the landscape. Though approximately 20 to 30% of the seeds remain undiscovered, ultimately contributing to the natural regeneration of the forest. Autumn is not a breeding time for red squirrels, but they work diligently to build up fat reserves, with adults typically weighing between 10 and 14 ounces, gaining weight as the plentiful autumn food supply fuels them for the months ahead. In September, goldfinches start gathering in flocks of 10 to 20 individuals as they prepare for their migration south. Often depicted in Renaissance paintings, these small yet beautiful birds leave the Swiss Alps, flying over valleys such as Rhone and Lauterbrunnen, en route to the warmer Mediterranean climates, where food is more abundant during winter. Unlike the fully migratory goldfinch, chaffinches display partial migration patterns. While some move south, others, particularly males, stay behind in the mountainous areas if the weather remains mild. Those that stay must focus on accumulating fat reserves to survive the winter, relying on acorns and leftover fruits. In harsher conditions, they may even resort to consuming small insects and larvae. The ability to forage efficiently is vital for their survival, especially when nighttime temperatures plunge below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Higher in the alpine zone, autumn brings an even sharper change. Temperatures plummet to between 20 degrees Fahrenheit and 40 degrees Fahrenheit, marking the start of the frigid winter season. Forests gradually give way to vast meadows and hardy plants like Edelweiss and Artemisia, which slowly wither as the first snow dusts the peaks. The stark contrast between the white snow and the clear blue sky creates a breathtaking scene, both majestic and peaceful. The meadows, now the last remaining source of food, become essential for herbivores like the alpine ibex. These animals, which often spend the summer in isolation, return to their herds during autumn to assert dominance before the breeding season. The males engage in fierce battles, their horns, sometimes reaching lengths of 3 feet and weighing up to 30 pounds, clashing in dramatic displays of strength. These head-to-head confrontations determine which males will lead the herd and secure mating rights for the season. Meanwhile, the alpine marmot is also busy preparing for winter. Marmots forage intensively, consuming large amounts of grass, roots, and seeds to build up the fat reserves they will need to survive their long hibernation. Equally important is the maintenance of their burrow systems. Marmots dig deeper into the earth, reinforcing their underground homes with dry grass and straw to keep the family group warm. Living in complex social structures, marmots share their burrows with multiple family members, offering protection from predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx. Marmots rely on sentinels, usually adult members of the group, to watch for danger. Should a predator approach, the sentinels sound an alarm, giving the group enough time to retreat to the safety of their burrows. As autumn progresses, the Eurasian lynx increases its activity, expanding its territory in search of prey to prepare for winter. A lynx's territory can range from 40 to 100 square miles, depending on the availability of prey and terrain. During autumn, they primarily hunt roe deer and chamois, which are focused on gathering energy themselves, often making them easier targets. However, lynxes are versatile hunters, supplementing their diet with smaller animals like hares and marmots when larger prey is scarce. Lynxes excel in low-light conditions, most active during dawn and dusk, blending into their surroundings as they stalk their prey. Weighing between 40 and 70 pounds, these powerful wildcats navigate steep, snowy terrain with grace, aided by their long legs and broad paws, making them formidable predators in the Swiss Alps. At even higher altitudes, the glacial zone experiences significant cooling, with temperatures dropping to between 28 degrees Fahrenheit and 40 degrees Fahrenheit as the warm summer months come to an end. The glaciers and ice sheets begin their return, blanketing the high peaks in snow. The streams fed by summer's meltwater start to shrink, leaving behind a landscape of stillness and white. As sunlight decreases and the cold intensifies, the ecosystem braces for the coming winter. Many birds and animals begin their migrations, seeking refuge from the harsh conditions and dwindling food supply. Those that remain must now face the bitter winter ahead, relying on their well-honed survival strategies to endure. Autumn in the glacial zone brings a remarkable spectacle as flocks of migratory birds from northern regions like Scandinavia and Siberia make their way through the Alps. Among these travelers, the waxwing is a common sight from September to November, pausing here to take advantage of the plentiful food before continuing southward. Due to climate change, this migration has accelerated, with the number of waxwings passing through the Swiss Alps increasing by 15% in the past 5 years, as harsher winters in the north push them to find more reliable food sources. Waxwings rely heavily on berries from hawthorn, mistletoe, and rowan plants, which thrive in the glacial zone, particularly near the Rhone Glacier. Large flocks, sometimes numbering in the hundreds, gather to feast on these berries, creating a lively scene as they blend into the wild, icy surroundings, where the snow-covered landscape merges with bursts of natural life. At the same time, the rock ptarmigan begins its seasonal change, shedding its light brown summer feathers for a pure white coat that helps it blend seamlessly into the snowy environment of the glacial zone. This transformation not only camouflages the bird from predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx, but also provides essential insulation against the increasingly cold temperatures. As the snow deepens, ptarmigans move to lower altitudes, where snowfall is less frequent and grasses and shrubs are easier to find. They often take refuge in rocky crevices or behind large shrubs to shield themselves from the freezing winds. During this time, their activity levels decrease significantly, especially at night, to conserve energy as they prepare for the long, challenging winter months ahead. From November through March, the landscape of the Swiss Alps transforms into a frozen wilderness. Snow blankets the peaks, and temperatures in the higher regions can drop to 22 degrees Fahrenheit, creating a world where only the hardiest species can endure. In the subalpine zone, temperatures plunge even lower, sometimes reaching between -4 degrees Fahrenheit and 28 degrees Fahrenheit, covering the terrain in thick layers of snow and ice. Silence envelops the valleys like Lauterbrunnen, where the only sounds are the faint echoes of frozen waterfalls cascading down cliffs, over 1,000 640 feet high. Rivers like the Rhone and Vispa continue their flow, but are slowed by heavy ice, and the spruce and fir forests stand quietly under blankets of snow. Spruce and larch trees halt their growth to conserve energy, while many mountain villages are abandoned as residents move to lower elevations to escape the biting cold. Despite the stillness, life endures, fighting to survive in these harsh conditions. The subalpine forests, once dense with conifers like spruce and fir, now lie under a heavy layer of snow. Vegetation becomes scarce, and streams freeze over as temperatures fall. Red deer, with their thickened winter coats, are well adapted to survive the cold. Their fur consists of two layers, a durable outer coat that blocks icy winds, and a soft underlayer that provides insulation. Each day, red deer travel 3 to 5 miles in search of food, surviving on a diet of grass, shoots, and small shrubs. They form larger herds during the winter months, relying on safety in numbers to protect against predators. The red squirrel, meanwhile, benefits from its careful preparations during autumn. These clever creatures rely on the thousands of pine nuts, acorns, and seeds they stored in tree hollows, under leaves, or buried underground earlier in the season. With over 6,000 stored seeds, the red squirrel ensures a steady food supply throughout the winter months. This foresight provides the energy needed to endure the cold and scarcity of winter. In the midst of these cold, snowy conditions, the golden eagle emerges as one of the Alps' top predators, demonstrating remarkable survival skills. As winter deepens and food becomes scarce, the eagle turns its attention to larger prey, such as mountain hares, alpine marmots, and vulnerable chamois. When heavy snow blankets the landscape, these herbivores move more slowly, making them easier targets. The golden eagle, with a wingspan of up to 7.5 feet, soars high above the mountains, scanning vast areas in search of prey. This predator's ability to glide for hours without expending much energy is a crucial adaptation for winter survival. The eagle's keen eyesight allows it to spot prey from up to 2 miles away. Once a target is in sight, the eagle dives at speeds of up to 120 miles per hour, striking with its sharp talons in a swift and deadly attack. Even though the golden eagle dominates the food chain, it must adapt its behavior to conserve energy during the winter months. Its hunting activity decreases by about 30% compared to the more abundant summer months, an essential energy-saving strategy for surviving the brutal cold when long flights could quickly deplete its energy reserves. Amid the snowy peaks and icy valleys, the golden eagle remains a powerful symbol of resilience, mastering the art of survival in one of nature's most formidable environments. Winter in the glacial zone of the Swiss Alps presents a breathtaking yet harsh scene. Icy winds sweep across the landscape, pushing temperatures far below -22 degrees Fahrenheit, transforming the entire region into a frozen wilderness. A thick blanket of snow, often over 3 feet deep, covers everything, stretching endlessly across the terrain in a sea of white. The iconic peaks, such as the Matterhorn and Spitze, tower above, piercing the sky and dominating the icy landscape with their majestic presence. The massive glacier, extending over 14 miles, continues its slow, ancient movement, its frozen surface shimmering under the weak winter sunlight, adding to the surreal beauty of this icy realm. The winter landscape here is a silent but dramatic intersection of nature's forces. Lakes like Lake Geneva and Lake Thun partially freeze, but the flow from the glaciers keeps sections of the water open. These unfrozen areas are crucial for species like the mute swan, which depend on these water sources during the cold months. According to a 2023 report from the Swiss Federal Office for the Environment, FOEN, the mute swan population in the glacial lakes has grown slightly over the past year, showing how well these birds can adapt to the severe conditions of the glacial zone. Swans have several adaptations that enable them to survive the extreme cold. Weighing between 20 to 26 pounds, with a wingspan reaching up to 8 feet, their large size helps them conserve heat. Their thick, waterproof feathers and a layer of insulating fat beneath the skin provide essential warmth in freezing conditions. Additionally, a special circulatory system in their legs, known as countercurrent heat exchange, allows swans to walk on ice without losing too much body heat, keeping them warm as they glide across icy waters. Despite the scarcity of aquatic plants in winter, the meltwater lakes still offer enough nutrients for the swans to survive. Migrating small fish, seeking shallower waters, become a key food source, helping the swans maintain their energy reserves throughout the harshest winter months. As spring approaches, the Swiss Alps awaken from their frozen slumber. From March to June, the ice begins to melt, sending clear, glistening water down the mountainsides, replenishing the valleys below. Temperatures slowly climb, ranging from 35 degrees Fahrenheit to 55 degrees Fahrenheit, as the mountains breathe life back into the ecosystem. The meadows, once buried beneath layers of snow, begin to stretch out like green velvet, welcoming the warm rays of the early sun. The entire mountain range undergoes a rejuvenation, with the snowmelt signaling a new cycle of life. This seasonal change is more than just a thawing of the landscape. It represents the renewal of nature, as plants and animals alike emerge from the long winter, full of energy and hope. The small fish that thrive in the meltwater streams provide crucial sustenance for the great crested grebe, allowing this water bird to thrive during the breeding season. One of the most striking birds in the region, the great crested grebe, enters its mating period with elaborate courtship displays. Their famous dancing on the water ritual involves pairs rising from the water, necks stretched high, moving in perfect harmony. This intricate dance not only strengthens the bond between mates, but also ensures successful reproduction. Once paired, the grebes build floating nests made of grass, leaves, and plant matter, carefully placing them in shallow waters near the shore to protect against predators. The pair usually lays 3 to 5 eggs, with both parents sharing the responsibility of incubation. Spring also marks the beginning of the breeding season for the mute swan. Swan pairs diligently construct nests along the shores of lakes and streams, choosing spots with plenty of grass and low shrubs to shelter their eggs and chicks from predators. BirdLife International reported in 2023 that the mute swan population around Lake Geneva is thriving, thanks to conservation efforts that have created a safe habitat for these majestic birds. Despite a high mortality rate among cygnets, these efforts have contributed to a gradual recovery of the swan population in recent years. Similarly, the mallard duck, another common waterfowl in the area, begins its breeding season with vibrant displays of courtship. Males, adorned with their glossy green plumage, court females by showing off their colorful feathers. After pairing, mallards build their nests near the water's edge, lining them with grass and leaves to protect their eggs from predators like foxes and hawks. Female mallards typically lay 8 to 12 eggs, incubating them for around 28 days. Once hatched, the ducklings quickly learn to swim, closely following their mother as she leads them across the water. Mallards are excellent hunters, feeding on aquatic plants, small invertebrates, and even fish, using their strong swimming and diving skills to catch prey. Vibrant landscape as the snow melts away. Streams and lakes, now clear and full of life, offer new nourishment to the flourishing vegetation. Famous valleys like Zermatt and Lauterbrunnen undergo a striking metamorphosis, with waterfalls like Staubach Falls cascading over 980 feet, blending seamlessly with the lush greenery below. Temperatures in the subalpine zone rise to between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, causing the high-altitude meadows to burst with color as crocuses and other flowers begin to bloom. This resurgence of life marks an ideal time for the red fox to emerge from its den, foraging for food in the awakening landscape. Red foxes, while known for their diverse diet of plants like crocuses, are also skilled hunters of small creatures, including mice, birds, and insects. Spring plays a crucial role in the breeding cycle of red foxes. After a gestation period of about 49 to 55 days, the vixen typically gives birth to 4 to 6 pups in a secure den, often nestled under rocks or hidden in dense forests, offering protection from predators. During the early weeks, the mother stays close to the young while the male fox hunts, bringing back food to sustain the family. As the pups grow, the mother introduces small prey like young birds and insects, teaching her young to hunt and hone their survival skills. The red fox's ability to detect even the slightest movements of prey, such as mice beneath the ground, is aided by its acute hearing. Its signature hunting technique involves leaping into the air and pouncing down to capture prey, a method that proves effective not only for catching small mammals, but also lizards. As the snow melts and vegetation begins to sprout, roe deer make their descent from higher elevations to the lower areas of the subalpine zone in search of food. Once thought to be extinct in Switzerland, the roe deer population has seen a revival thanks to conservation efforts. These graceful animals feed on fresh grass, tender buds, and leaves, with adults typically weighing between 40 and 66 pounds. Spring is also a critical time for roe deer to give birth, with females seeking secluded areas to deliver 1 to 3 fawns. The mothers hide their young in dense bushes or tall grass to keep them safe from predators. Roe deer are shy and tend to be most active at dawn and dusk, when they are less likely to encounter predators. They must also compete with other herbivores, like red deer and chamois, for food. Thanks to their agility and adaptability, roe deer play a vital role in the ecosystem of the Swiss Alps. Similarly, the Eurasian hoopoe, a rare bird in Switzerland, returns to the subalpine zone in the spring for breeding. Known for its striking plumage and crown-like crest, the hoopoe finds its nesting grounds in open areas rich in insects, often near Lake Lugano, where the warmer climate supports a diverse ecosystem. Hoopoes typically nest in tree cavities, rock crevices, or even cracks in abandoned buildings. Their young are cared for by both parents for around 25 to 30 days until they are ready to forage on their own. Higher up in the alpine zone, nature begins its revival after a harsh winter, with majestic peaks like Weisshorn towering over the landscape. The warm spring sun slowly melts the snow and ice, revealing the valleys, lakes, and streams below. The Matterhorn, standing at 14,692 feet, rises against the clear blue sky, a symbol of the resilience of this remarkable land. As spring breathes life into the alpine zone, alpine ibex begin their breeding season. The arrival of warmer weather and the resurgence of vegetation provide ample food for nursing mothers and their newborns. Remarkably, young ibex are capable of climbing with their mothers just hours after birth, a critical skill for escaping predators on the steep cliffs. A 2024 study by the University of Zurich found that the survival rate of young ibex is heavily dependent on spring conditions. If the snow melts late, or if temperatures remain too cold, the scarcity of food can significantly reduce their chances of survival. Spring also marks the start of the breeding season for chamois. Typically, chamois give birth in late spring, when the high-altitude meadows are filled with fresh grass and wildflowers. Female chamois seek out safe locations, far from predators like the golden eagle and Eurasian lynx, to raise their young. The high meadows offer abundant food, allowing the young chamois to grow strong. However, competition for food can be fierce, with chamois often competing with alpine ibex. According to research from the University of Zurich, in 2023, the survival rate of young chamois is also highly dependent on the timing of spring. Early snowmelt and good vegetation growth significantly improve the chances of survival. But late snow or unexpected storms can make it difficult for the young to access food and avoid predators. Beneath the towering peaks of the Swiss Alps, the natural balance is gradually shifting due to human encroachment. The shrinking habitat is threatening wildlife as temperatures rise and vegetation struggles to regenerate. The delicate balance of the ecosystem is further challenged by the pressures of human activity, leaving animals with fewer safe spaces to seek refuge during the long winters. Climate change is having a profound impact on the Swiss Alps. Glaciers, a vital part of this ecosystem, are retreating rapidly. According to the World Glacier Monitoring Service, in 2023 alone, Switzerland's glaciers lost 6% of their ice mass, a rate that has doubled in recent years. This rapid melting is dramatically altering the landscape. Species like the rock ptarmigan, which depend on thick snow cover for camouflage, are finding it increasingly difficult to survive. With earlier snowmelts and thinner winter snowpacks, these birds are more exposed to predators. According to the Swiss Federal Institute for Forest, Snow, and Landscape Research, WSL, the rock ptarmigan population has declined by 10% over the last 5 years. Rising temperatures are also pushing species like the alpine ibex and chamois to higher elevations in search of cooler environments. However, in these higher zones, food is scarce, and their habitat continues to shrink, adding to the challenges they face in an already changing world. Experts at WWF Switzerland warn that rising temperatures could cause the ibex population to drop by as much as 20% within the next 50 years. The increasing frequency of extreme weather events, such as snowstorms, avalanches, and landslides caused by climate change, threatens not only the wildlife, but also the human population in the Swiss Alps. Avalanches, in particular, are destructive, reshaping landscapes and obliterating the burrow systems of the alpine marmot, leaving them exposed and vulnerable during the harsh winter months. A 2023 study from ETH Zurich found that many marmots have been trapped and died due to avalanches, further endangering their survival. Tourism, while a key pillar of the Swiss economy, especially in the Swiss Alps, where ski resorts and related infrastructure thrive, is also exacerbating environmental challenges. According to a 2023 report from the IUCN, the construction of cable cars, hotels, and other tourism infrastructure has led to a 5% reduction in forested areas in both the subalpine and alpine zones over the last decade. This loss of habitat is particularly harmful to species like the red deer, chamois, and rock ptarmigan, whose populations are being displaced by these developments. In addition, changes in water management and resource extraction have created significant challenges for aquatic species in the Alps. Rivers like the Rhone, once home to many fish species, including barbel and Danube salmon, have been severely affected by hydroelectric dams and the redirection of water for industrial and agricultural purposes. The flow of the Rhone River has decreased by 15% during the summer months, according to a 2023 study by ETH Zurich, placing immense pressure on the survival of fish species like the Danube salmon, which are now at risk of extinction in Switzerland. In response to these growing environmental threats, several conservation programs have been introduced to safeguard the alpine ecosystem. One such initiative is the implementation of ice stupa technology, which creates artificial ice towers during the winter to store water for the summer months. These ice structures help regulate water supplies and slow down glacier melt. According to ETH Zurich, the use of these ice towers has reduced glacier melt by 10% in areas where they have been applied. Another technological intervention involves using white covers on glaciers during the summer, which reflect sunlight and help reduce melting. WSL reports that these covers have slowed ice melt by up to 50%, aiding the survival of species that depend on meltwater, such as the barbel and Danube salmon. Efforts to restore forests in the Swiss Alps have also shown promise. The Swiss government has committed to replanting 10,000 hectares of native forest by 2025, creating vital habitats for birds such as the penduline tit and speckled nutcracker. In 2023 alone, the forest restoration area expanded by 8%, which has led to a 15% increase in the red squirrel population in the subalpine zone. Ecotourism is emerging as a sustainable alternative to traditional tourism. Activities such as hiking and mountain climbing saw a 15% increase in participants in 2023, helping alleviate pressure on more ecologically sensitive areas. This shift has also benefited wildlife, with species like the alpine marmot experiencing a 5% population growth as their habitats become less disturbed. The remarkable recovery of the Eurasian lynx in the Swiss Alps is a shining example of successful wildlife conservation. Once driven to extinction in Switzerland by the late 19th century, the lynx was reintroduced in 1971 through a program that brought 14 lynx from Romania's Carpathian Mountains to the Swiss Alps and Jura Mountains. This effort, supported by organizations like Swiss National Park, WWF, and the IUCN, has helped the lynx regain a foothold in the region. The story of the lynx is a testament to the possibility of restoring species and ecosystems when communities and conservationists unite toward a common goal. However, the recovery of one species is not enough. Broader conservation efforts are required to protect the entire alpine ecosystem. This challenge demands the involvement of individuals, families, and communities alike. Small actions, such as supporting ecotourism, engaging in reforestation efforts, and choosing environmentally friendly practices, can contribute to the preservation of these precious environments. Educating younger generations about conservation and the importance of protecting wildlife is also crucial, planting the seeds for future stewardship of the Alps. Imagine standing amidst the breathtaking valleys and cascading waterfalls of the Swiss Alps, with the towering peaks surrounding you. Have you ever experienced such a moment? If so, we encourage you to share your stories in the comments below. Your insights and experiences can inspire others to appreciate the beauty of the Swiss Alps and foster a deeper commitment to conserving this remarkable natural landscape for generations to come. Barn owls, often found sheltering in old buildings or abandoned rooftops during winter, are another species that have adapted remarkably to the cold conditions. Hunting becomes more challenging in the snow-covered landscape, but barn owls, with their exceptional hearing, are able to pinpoint the exact location of prey, such as voles and mice, even beneath thick layers of snow. Their asymmetrical ears allow them to detect sound with incredible precision, locating prey up to 10 feet away, even when hidden. With their silent flight, thanks to specialized feathers, barn owls glide stealthily through the night, swooping down on their unsuspecting prey with perfect accuracy. Similarly, the blue tit has developed unique adaptations to survive winter's harsh conditions. This small bird enters a state of torpor at night, lowering its body temperature to conserve energy. This physiological adaptation allows the blue tit to survive the coldest nights by reducing its metabolic needs. During the day, blue tits often forage in small groups, not only sharing body warmth, but also reducing the risk of predation by hawks. Living in groups improves their survival chances during the harsh winter by as much as 15%, showing the importance of cooperation in the natural world. Above 6,500 feet, the landscape is dominated by cold and snow. Temperatures drop below 14 degrees Fahrenheit, with fierce winds blowing across the peaks, leaving everything shrouded in a white blanket. The Matterhorn, standing tall as a frozen monument to the Alps, is surrounded by vast stretches of snow, with depths reaching 13 feet in areas over 8,000 feet. Low-growing vegetation is buried beneath the snow, and animals rely on stored fat reserves to survive the long winter, awaiting the eventual return of spring. For the alpine marmot, survival during winter is achieved through hibernation. From late September or early October until April or May, marmots hibernate, lowering their body temperature from 100 degrees Fahrenheit to around 41 degrees Fahrenheit to conserve energy. Meanwhile, chamois descend to lower elevations, where they forage on dry grass and shrubs, often found on slopes where wind has blown the snow thin. During this time, chamois reduce their activity to conserve energy, moving only when necessary to find food. In recent years, gray wolves have returned to the high mountain regions of the Swiss Alps, migrating from Italy. Once extinct in Switzerland, the gray wolf has made a comeback through conservation efforts, reclaiming its role in the alpine ecosystem. During winter, when temperatures in the alpine zone drop below -4 degrees Fahrenheit, the gray wolf's thick, double-layered fur helps it withstand the extreme cold. However, the biggest challenge for wolves during this time is the scarcity of prey. To survive, wolves must roam large areas, hunting herbivores like red deer and chamois. Deep snow slows down these animals, making them easier targets for the wolves, who hunt in packs of 4 to 6 individuals. According to the Swiss Wolf Group in 2024, the return of wolves has helped regulate herbivore populations, aiding the recovery of alpine plant species. However, this resurgence has also raised concerns among livestock farmers, as wolves occasionally prey on sheep and goats grazing nearby. As winter approaches, the mountain hare adapts by growing a thick, white winter coat, which not only provides warmth, but also serves as camouflage in the snow. Their diet shifts to tougher vegetation like bark and shrubs, and they must dig through snow to find roots, consuming up to 2 pounds of food each day to survive the cold season.